Hey there, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia video. And today we'll be talking about the latest episode to drop, episode 8, The League of Villains vs UA Students, which follows up with the cliffhanger ending of classes 1A and 1B, moving to confront the oncoming storm that is Gigantomachia, and also follow up with the battle in Jakku City, where Shigaraki just got hit with everybody's special move, so we'll need to follow up with the aftermath of that. But yeah, anyway, I will say that I have read the manga, and so I'm aware of any future plot points and details, but I will be trying to approach this mostly from an anime-only perspective, so that people who haven't read ahead can watch along and join in too. So I'll try not to spoil anything. I have failed at that in the past, so I'm sorry, but I'll do my best. And anyway, with all that being said, let's jump into the video. So we start off the episode with Gigantomachia charging full speed ahead through the forest, with Mount Lady hanging off his legs trying to slow him down to no real effect at all. And all the while, Momo's getting the team ready to confront him, and getting them all ready to work together to try and bring him down and get the sedatives into his mouth, going over how tall he is, how powerful he is, referencing that the blue flame villain seems to be with him. And this did make me laugh, because it completely slipped my mind the majority of these characters haven't even seen Darby before, that he's an abstract idea. They know that he attacked Aizawa one time, they know that he's with the League of Villains, and they know he's dangerous, but they don't know him as Darby or anything like that. But since we've had a lot of time following the villains before, or we've followed heroes that have had to battle him more regularly or think about him, we're more familiar with him as a character. And there's not really any point to that thought, but it was interesting to me at least. But yeah, since the dude seems to be a giant walking rock, the only way to sedate him seems to be orally. So that's the plan they seem to be going with. And honestly, I know it's the best shot they have, but if I was there, I feel like I would be losing all hope. It's such a long shot to be able to do this. And I guess that's why they're the heroes and I'm not. And so they try to make a massive trap. Mudman makes a pit for him to fall into. Grape Juice makes a couple of sticky rope things and worries about Midnight alongside Ashido. Momo makes bombs and drops them into the mud, and also flashes half the class. And then, after a few moments of epic tension, and I really loved how they built up to this moment with the music and everybody slowly freaking out, the dude arrives, and he falls right into the trap, sinking into the mud with all the strong people, characters who rarely ever get any sort of spotlight because Deku is stronger than them, get their own little moment to work together to try and pull open his mouth by pulling on the sticky ropes, while Cellophane and Vine try to throttle him with their own quirks. And for a brief moment, I feel like the episode actually makes you think that these low importance characters actually have a shot here. Even though he does break free of the initial throttle, he's still in trouble. They still have his jaw. Plus, others climb onto his back to fight the League. Ayama fires off some sparkles to frighten them, Jiro gets burnt trying to attack them, but Kaminari gets his discs up there, and he's about to fry them with help from the telekinesis girl, and therefore he'd take them out of the fight completely. But unfortunately for him, Compress does the exact same thing he did to Midnight and smashes him with compressed rubble, KOing him completely. And so, from there, the hope just completely shatters. You're brought back down to reality and realize, ooh yeah, this is the B team. They're the minor characters. They're not going to win that easily, and it's going to come down to those characters that are just slightly above the rest. The Kirishimas, that level. But yeah, almost immediately after that though, I was once again manipulated into thinking they could win, as they all pull open his mouth and they throw the jars, and then he just blows them all away. So yeah, the hope shatters once again, bucket of cold water over their head. Only 7 or so minutes in, and I've already been on an emotional roller coaster. Honestly though, why haven't they been attacking the dude's eyes or something? Surely those aren't made of rock too. I feel like that would have been a helpful tactic. Anyway, whilst he's exhaling, Darby, the ultimate opportunist, shoots his fire into the stream, with the air carrying it all over the forest towards the class. Big fella stands up, starts moving again, but Momo sets off her trap and the bombs in the mud explode, knocking him down again and giving them a second chance. And then all the cannon fodder minor heroes try to attack and fight the League of Villains, and will almost certainly die off screen. Whilst Mount Lady, who I feel like is a character at major risk of dying, simply because she's fighting a major villain, and is the only major character that isn't a student in the area, jumps on Gigantomachia's back and tries to force open his mouth. And I couldn't look at this. I was so certain the dude was just going to bite off her fingers. And then, Mina gets her moment. She does her Acid Man attack and launches herself through the flames with a tranquilizer jar, ready to go. Only for Gigantomachia to finally realize what's happening and decide that the shortest route to his master is no longer just plowing through, but killing the heroes first. And for him to somehow, through the power of plot armor, talk audibly enough for Mina to hear him. Seriously, Mount Lady is holding open his jaws. Try to speak while you're doing that to yourself. How can he talk so audibly? Enough that Mina would therefore recognize who he is. Whatever. It's a minor thing, and so I'll let it go. But it causes her to remember how scared she was the last time they met, and she drops the jar mid-throw, whilst Mount Lady gets obliterated in one hit, and the big guy goes straight up to kill Mina with a smackdown. And honestly, at first I was like, seriously? You're gonna drop the jar in this crucial moment? But on rewatch, there was no chance she'd even have been able to toss it in before he attacked anyway. He moved so fast. He took out Mount Lady and was moving towards her. Throwing it in was never an option. And so yeah, for a brief second, it looked like we were going to have our first student death. And man, wouldn't that have been depressing? Killed by Gigantomachia, just as she feels like she's failed her class, frightened and alone. Good thing though that Kirishima was there to save the day. He charges through the fire in unbreakable mode, jumps into the air, pushes her out of the way, tanks the whole attack and still didn't shatter, kept both his and Mina's tranquilizers safe, climbed up the dude's leg, launched himself into the air, did a jar fake out, and managed to get the second one into the giant's mouth. Complete MVP! What a Chad! And then he gets saved from being squished by some last minute cannon fire. And so everything's looking hopeful. And Momo calls in her pro mentor Majestic and a bunch of other no-namer heroes to try and fight to make the anesthetic take effect faster. But then, hope is pretty much lost, as right on the cliffhanger where we change over to the Jakku storyline, Gigantomachia decides to enter phase 2. Kill everybody. So yeah, he puts on his battle armor, and it's a bit of a bummer. Imagine working so hard only for that shit to happen to you. F in the chat. And then we move over to Jakku, where we have a pretty similar sequence of events, with our A-team doing their best to try and take down a seemingly unstoppable Shigaraki, who's ridiculously strong despite being quirkless due to Aizawa. Now, I've seen a little bit of discontent about how strong he is online, but remember, the first Nomu All Might fought. That guy tanked dozens and dozens of All Might punches before his body started to give out. And nobody in this fight is All Might level in terms of pure attack power except for Deku, but he's a glass cannon in that respect. As if he goes full All Might, he breaks. Anyway, Shigaraki's tanked everybody's finisher, and he's still up and about. And he has a really cool and eerie little speech where he explains to the heroes present why he is the way he is, how he feels like the Hero Society has failed him completely and utterly, and so he's going to take his revenge. And in the midst of this monologue, Endeavor attacks him because he doesn't have time for this shit, an actual smart character for once. And Shigaraki, well, he also isn't finished yet. So he moves to kill Endeavor, but Gran Torino intercepts him, realizing that despite him being immensely strong, Shigaraki is slowing down, that he's slowly breaking down his body by using too many big moves and pushing his limits too much, because all the while, his healing quirks are being suppressed by Aizawa. Anyway, Old Man instantly gets his leg crushed and gets slammed down into the concrete while Shigaraki gives him the creepiest face ever. And he has a sad realization that he and Shimura had left Shigaraki's dad in foster care. And Gran Torino had orders, and so did All Might, not to ever go looking for him. Leave him there. All to try and keep him safe from All for One. But the fact that they did that, and thus couldn't explain to him why his mother left him, in turn would create the conditions that All for One needed to start to manipulate Shigaraki, and thus, he gets his ultimate revenge against All Might and Shimura, by turning her grandson to villainy, and thus making her pain mean nothing at the end of the day. It was a meaningless sacrifice. And then Gran Torino gets a hole punched in his chest. Whew, damn. Also, how did he shrink so much from his prime? Jesus, dude aged like milk. Anyway, Deku rages and he charges him, but Shigaraki's playing the tactical game. He's going for Aizawa again. Ryukyu then intercepts him, and he impales her hand, which was horrifying. Made me queasy. And Deku climbs on his back, Endeavor's charging him, Bakugo's doing something. But Shigaraki cares not. He has a plan. And he wiggles his hand through Ryukyu's hand, and prepares to fire off a deleter round. Deku tries to smash him, but Shigaraki just catches his arm in his mouth. Gonna take more than that. And then he shoots off the bullet at Aizawa and hits him in the leg on what has got to be the best cliffhanger ending in the show's history. Oh my god, this was good. Damn it, this arc is just turning into straight fire. Seriously can't wait for next week. It was great in the manga, but the anime is just elevating it in my opinion. It's gonna be glorious. Everything's just getting better and better, more and more intense. Love it. But anyway, with all that being said, that's the end of the video, and I would like to say that these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it, hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know.